Hello, hello. Today is April 20th, 2024, and this is Season 1, Episode 6 of the Forever Getting Better podcast. And today I will be talking about my personal journey with becoming sober. Of course, today is 420, and because of that, there are a lot of people that are partaking in smoking weed and doing that sort of thing. And, I used to smoke weed. Like in high school, I smoked weed. And the thing was, it was enjoyable back then, but, I turned 17 and I joined the Air Force. And then, of course, you're not allowed to smoke weed when you're in the Air Force. I mean, I guess technically you can. You're just not allowed to get caught. And, it stays in your system for a while. So, it's kind of difficult to avoid not getting caught when the drug tests are random. But anyway, so let's just say joined the military, didn't smoke weed anymore. Got out of the military. Went back to smoking weed, and I found out, wow, this makes me really paranoid and anxious. And of course, so originally when I was going to do this episode, I was going to sit there and talk about all of the symptoms that people may or may not know when it comes to smoking weed. So of course, people are familiar with short-term memory loss, effects on long-term memory, loss of focus, and those sorts of things. But did you know that there are also issues when it comes to cognitive function and emotional regulation associated with weed as well? So it's interesting because it's one of the things that's prescribed for anxiety and depression now. But the thing is weed itself, one of the side effects after prolonged use, when you stop using it, is anxiety and depression. So I just find that very interesting. It's not something that's categorized as an addictive substance because there aren't any physical withdrawal effects that we know of, any physical withdrawal symptoms. But there are definitely ones like that, like the anxiety, like the depression. Another one would be psychosis. So actual hallucinations is a side effect of prolonged use of marijuana. Also, if you get too high one time, this can be something that you experience as well. So this can be auditory or visual hallucinations. So that means while it is something, it's very interesting because while it is something that is used to treat schizophrenia, it can cause pretty much all of the symptoms of schizophrenia, as well as all of the symptoms of bipolar disorder and all of the symptoms of ADHD and all of the symptoms of depression and anxiety. So and you don't have to take my word for it. I would highly recommend going to cannabis.colorado.gov, and I recommend that one because Colorado is one of the most pro-weed states, right? But you can go to cannabis.colorado.gov, and it talks about the side effects of weed, just because it's kind of like a disclaimer thing. Hey, if you're going to partake in this, then you should just know, since it's recreational here. Another one is, of course, Mayo Clinic. There's also the CDC website. You can take your pick. There's a ton that has all this information. But anyway, yeah, I really didn't want to spend too much time focusing on those things. Oh, but I will mention one more, and then I'm going to go back to talking about my own personal journey when it comes to sobriety. The last symptom I want to talk about is elevated blood pressure. So elevated heart rate and blood pressure is another thing that happens when you get high. As you get high and you kind of ride that sober to high wave, your heart rate also increases, and during that time period, you're at increased chance for heart attack and stroke. So that's just another thing worth considering. It's the part of getting high that makes your eyes red. Yes, your mouth does get dry and your eyeballs get dry, but the other thing is the elevated heart rate and higher blood pressure does contribute to the redness of the eyes. So super interesting to me, and I thought it was something worth mentioning. But yeah, anyway, I found that when I smoked weed, I got paranoid. So I stopped smoking weed, and I decided, you know what, well, I'm going to opt for edibles instead, and we'll do edibles instead. And so there was a point in time where I was doing edibles, and then I would drink occasionally, most people do. I think it's pretty widely accepted as drinking. And when I was in the military, I developed a pretty heavy nicotine habit. I think there might be a solid amount of people who didn't know this about me, actually. It's not something that I've ever publicized or talked about. at length. But yeah. When I was in the Air Force, there was a point in time when I was smoking like a pack a day. Like I smoked a lot, and then I transitioned from smoking to vaping. And I was never like a daily drinker, but I definitely like I don't think I would ever be considered like an alcoholic per se, but I definitely would spend like at least one night a week like binge drinking is what it would be, right? Because I was drinking to get drunk, and for whatever reason I have an unnaturally high tolerance. So that's what I did, right? um I would, and even now it's like if I even taste alcohol, like I want to feel the psychoactive effects associated with drinking alcohol. So I will then drink 4 or 5 drinks. And long story short, the last time I drank, I was hanging around some pretty notable people, and I went to go speak to someone that I respect, and they did not know me. And by my recollection, my first impression was subpar. Like it was not a great first impression, and it was 100% because of me being under the influence of alcohol. So like just after that, I recognized like, okay, well, I didn't extract as much value out of this as I potentially could have, and I blamed that on me being under the influence, which is the reason why after that I was like, you know what, no more drinking. I had already decided to stop taking edibles at that point. Don't smoke weed. And, I vaped for a little bit after I got out the military, but I'm not doing that anymore either. Occasionally I might grab like some nicotine gum, but like I don't feel any like buzz or high from nicotine gum. It's just enough to kind of kill the craving. Yeah. So, but anyway, that's just been my personal journey when it comes to sobriety. And so what's the other thing about weed, right? Well, the other thing about weed is like, even if we're talking about using it in a performance sense, and this was just the reason why I decided to quit, right? Is like, if you're going to use it as a coping mechanism or as something that's just going to help you have normal days, right? Which is, I think, the reason why most people do it, because it's really a dependency thing. Like, life sucks if I don't have weed, so let me have weed so life doesn't suck. And then they get high and they depend on it. But the thing is, like, what I found personally is that it wasn't something that was actually conducive to me doing what I needed to do. So, like, yes, I would emotionally feel better while high, right? It would make me feel good, but it would also take away whatever edge existed that allowed me to get things done that I wanted to get done. And so I think this is the reason why it was a lot easier for me personally to eliminate weed from like the list of substances that I partook in versus like nicotine, for example. Like, I personally look at weed as as not a high performing drug. Like, if I'm smoking weed, it like how high I am directly affects how motivated I feel, and how motivated I feel directly affects how much work I get done. And so like, I can get a nicotine high and get a bunch done because I'm focused, I'm buzzing, like I'm energized, and I can stay in front of the computer or in meetings for hours if I just have some nicotine. But when it comes to weed, it's the opposite, right? So like, yeah, I feel social or whatever when I'm on weed, and I can make people laugh, and and we're all having a good time, but that's it. It's just a good time. Nothing gets accomplished. And I like, for me personally, I think that was the difficult thing about it, right? And so I'm saying all this to say that recently I had someone close to me who is going through a hard time, right? And just trying to get their life together, trying to do things for themselves and their family, like in terms of like their finances and getting those things up. And they asked me, like, what is the secret in terms of your mentality? Like, what helps you continue to grind and do things consistently every day? And, it's not a motivation thing, it's a discipline thing. Like, a lot of days, like today, to be completely honest, like I put a video out today on 420 that was kind of about like, hey, get your life together. And then, of course, I'm making this episode, and it's later in the day. And honestly, the reason why it's later in the day is because I was just like, I just don't feel like talking today. I really just want to do like some internal processing. I haven't played any music. I haven't watched any TV. I've spent the majority of today walking and staring at things silently. So really, like, introspection and deep thought has been the majority of today. Um, but the thing is, like, it's necessary, right? So there is a goal that I have, and there are steps that I need to take in order to reach that goal. And so I am taking those steps regardless of how I feel. Discipline, right? And that's it. And so for me, part of the part of what makes discipline a little bit easier, I wouldn't call it motivation per se, but it is the God-given emotions that I have. And so if I don't do the things that I'm supposed to do, I feel bad. And a substance like weed makes, like, it's a coping mechanism. It makes me feel better, right? It raises my serotonin and dopamine levels, and I feel good, and I stop thinking about the things I'm not doing, and the discomfort goes away. And so the issue is, if I were to get high, is like, I then have no discomfort to acknowledge and to remind me of the things that I'm supposed to be doing that I'm not doing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Weed sucks because it makes you too comfortable, or at least that's what it does for me. Nicotine was harder to quit because it was something that, like, helped me in a lot of ways. And then, of course, when I wasn't under the influence of nicotine, I got cranky and irritable and didn't want to be around people because I was going through nicotine withdrawals. And I'm an introvert. But the thing is like, in order to become the best version of myself, I need to stop relying on mind-altering substances and drugs and start relying on the God-given abilities that I have, as well as God himself. And that's only possible with the omission of those substances. I hope this helps somebody. I know this episode was short, but anyway, have a happy and safe 420 or 421 or 423 or whatever day you listen to this. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace.